Mr. Toby. He's had about half a week of antibiotics and he's doing a lot better. Man, you know what? I don't think I've done a recording on this patio here since Jenna passed. That little stain right there, that was her vomit before I had to rush her to the vet. I never wanted to wash it away. I'm just going to leave it there forever. So I was on YouTube today, and I was watching a video about near-death experiences, a guy's experience. And I'm amazed at how many people are trying to sneak into the house through the back door without knowing the owner. See, atheists, they don't believe in God, let alone Satan. So when they experience something like this, they don't understand who it is, what it is, why, because they don't think anything to that. When they have like this kind of an experience, it's almost always meant to mislead them and ensure their destruction. The experience of the guy, in summary, was, if I remember right, this was last night, he was on the operating table, he lost consciousness, he saw a bunch of colors, he heard a female voice, he saw a man on the beach with 6 kids, who ended up being his dad, and he wanted to stay there. He said he could tell him the things he always wanted to in life. He said he could stay there, but then he said that the guy said that it's time to go back, and he said he didn't want to go back, and he said, look, I'll cut you a deal. I can't remember what the part of the deal was, but he says, but then I'll let you back here. If you go back or something, I'll let you go. I'll let you back here. Some weird, not even really a deal, more like a time to wake up kind of thing. And so now he completely believes he's going straight to heaven because he had this experience. Because he's so awesome, he's going straight to heaven. Does God let unclean spirits into heaven? Does a person let a murderer into their house? He's trying to get into heaven without knowing the owner. The spirit in this vision, this female voice, and I've had experience with his voice before, and I'm absolutely convinced it was Satan. Here's ultimately the product of this experience. First of all, there was no call to the repentance of sin, no acknowledgement of how his spirit can be harmful, or any evil he might hold on to. None of that. Had nothing to do with any of that. In no way acknowledged the divinity of Jesus, the Son of God. So there's that. It lulled him into a false sense of security. He's going through life now thinking, man, I'm going to go to heaven just because the color voice told me so. Are you going to seriously put your faith in that? And I'm sure after it happened, it was very real. Listen, I've experienced a lot of wild things myself. I'm just saying, be careful, because this spirit, first of all, God doesn't bargain. So when the spirit in his vision was bargaining with him, beware. God does not bargain. Satan does. And the female voice is a giveaway. Satan is a feminine spirit. Did you know that? Satan has feminine energy, vanity, insecurity. Everything about Satan is actually feminine in nature. There's a reason why the story of Adam and Eve, why they said that Satan went to Eve first. There's a reason. Satan is very feminine. God has always identified with masculine energy. Why is it a surprise now that people realize that Satan, you see the picture of Mary, all the Mary worship of the Catholic Church for more than 1,000 years, that was Satan. That woman you see standing over the church, that was Satan. An angel of light, how beautiful she is, that's Satan. Anyway, this guy, this female voice was guiding him through this color vision experience. Saw his dad, and his dad says, don't worry, we'll let you back. We'll let you back. Now he just thinks he's going straight to heaven. He's going to just completely ignore anything that Jesus said, because why should he? His color dream, his color vision told him he's okay. This is like a very elaborate way of, it's a very elaborate form of self-deception where your brain is literally giving you what you want to hear. And it is so sad that your mind can do that after believing something false for so long. It could then continually reinforce that belief. Now someone's going to say, well, he was an atheist before this. Yes, but he's still an atheist in a sense. He's a spiritual atheist now. He's an atheist who thinks there's an afterlife. Listen, you cannot be an atheist who thinks there's an afterlife. And let me explain why. Someone's going to say, why does there have to be a God to be an afterlife? Because if there is no spirit deciding who is going where, if there's no control, if there's no person outside of you, when you die, that's it. That's why. Someone's going to say, well, it could just be a natural process that after you die, you simply go into what? Go into the consciousness of a greater being? Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's ultimately what you're talking about. When you hear about people talking about how they all become one with everything, that means they're becoming one with all consciousness, with God. You can't... Okay, let my language be as accurate as possible, since can't is a pretty strong word. I'm about 99.9999% certain you cannot have an afterlife without some form of God or intelligence or something personal that is going to bring you back to life, keep you alive, something to that effect. If that does not happen, if there is no God, if there's no spirit, there is no afterlife. So to say that he's still an atheist, he just believes in an afterlife, would be stupid. So is he an atheist now? I don't know. Apparently not, if he believes in an afterlife. Now he's I think they call him deist. He believes in just kind of like a vague God that's out there, and just everybody goes straight to heaven no matter what, so no worries. It really is a preaching of injustice, because now you are in no way discouraged. You are in no way, like, who cares if you sin or not, is what I'm trying to say. This is a teaching of lawlessness. Lawlessness is a common MO of Satan. It comes in all forms. It comes through different church teachings. It comes through different experiences like this. Now listen, I don't want to belittle these kind of experiences. I've had some myself, and that's why I don't want to belittle them. And I also don't want to belittle the very merciful nature of God. I think that's why some of these visions are sometimes so deceptive, because God is merciful, God is forgiving, but listen, it's not without your participation. That's part of the process. He will forgive you if you ask to be forgiven. But he doesn't just forgive carte blanche. He is merciful to who he wants. And typically it's those who were merciful to others. What did Jesus say about that? You ask me for forgiveness, but you won't forgive somebody who sinned against you. Why should I forgive you? Basically, paraphrasing. Meaning, you want forgiveness? Okay, demonstrate it in your life. Forgive other people. You want mercy? Okay, demonstrate it in your life. Be merciful to other people. This is turning away from evil. But the vision that this man had nothing to do with this. It's just, oh, you're going straight to heaven regardless. Regardless. All wild creatures. Listen, it belittles the very reason we have to go through this existence. This awful existence of sin and evil. To say that we're just going to go to another existence where it's just like this. Where there's still sin and evil. Where there's still things in there that never let go of evil. Just decided to still be themselves. It belittles there's no reason for this existence, then why wouldn't it just be that existence? Toby's on the hunt for lizards. He probably smells one. I've let that weed grow. It just kind of looks pretty. But once it starts to push the roof off the house, I probably have to cut it down. But for now, it's kind of pretty. I don't know. Makes me feel like I'm surrounded by nature more than I already am. It's like right there on the patio. So I leave it be. Winter is going to come and take it out anyway. And you know what? It's going to have flowers too. It's going to make, well, or something like that on the end. Anyway. Sorry. Off track. Here's my buddy. Yep, here's my buddy. 13 and a half years old. Got all them gray hairs. My senior citizen buddy. Yeah. I'm going to give some love to my buddy. Yeah, there's my buddy. Okay, I'll leave him alone. So he's like, I don't want to be near this guy. Go near this guy. He just touches me all the time. I can't even just sit next to this guy. That other guy petting on me. Yeah, I miss Jenny. You know that, mister? She would like to sit right there in that corner and look out into that distance through the bars. Almost kind of like this life was a prison to her, poor thing. She was meant to be in heaven, I'm telling you, that dog. The dog was from heaven and returned to heaven, I'm telling you. Little angel. Humans, unlike all this creation that you see, have the risk of destruction. Like, God does not hate the butterfly or the dog, but, listen, He can hate the human if the human holds to his sin. There are people in this life that truly enjoy sin. They derive pleasure from sinful things, and they love their sin, and they won't let go of their sin. And that's what this is really about. If you want to be in heaven, a place where there is no sin, you have to let go of your sins. That's what repentance is. There are people who, their brains are literally wired. They are wired. If you've seen enough documentaries on serial killers, you'll know that they are wired to derive pleasure from killing somebody. They many times can't feel pleasure from having sex, but they can and almost always only feel pleasure from killing people. Did you know that? They were born, in a sense, to enjoy that. Someone's going to say, that's messed up. Thing is, they still have free will. We're born with other issues. Some of us are born with the greed bug, the immorality bug. Some of us are born with different things. Like people say, well, I was born gay. It's no excuse, no different than the serial killer who was born a serial killer. It doesn't mean he should go on murdering. It's still sin. It's still evil. Person says they're born gay. I'm sorry to tell you that, listen, that means that's your weakness, but that it's not right. All right? What's going on there is perversion. I don't want to get off track on that, but it's actually perversion. They're actually addicted to the feeling of perversion. It's the same thing with pedophilia as it is with homosexuality. They actually, it was the initial excitement of doing something so perverse that actually they're addicted to, and they chase that addiction, that feeling, that first high. That's what they do, and that's why they do it. But they derive pleasure from sin. Ultimately, it is an unclean spirit, sexual immorality. Just as you can see how murder is, a cruel spirit, or a sadistic spirit, I should say, deriving pleasure from killing somebody else. This part of a person has to be put to death. It has to be let go. Do you think God is going to let these kinds of people into heaven? These kinds of spirits? Now, in this man's near-death experience, he even talks about how the character in his spirit said, that your body was like a car, and you were the one in your car. Yeah, we've all been saying that for the long... Why is this new revelation? It's like he has to have a color experience before he finally gets it. That we are more than just the sum of all our parts. When my dog Jenna, who was here all the time, when she passed, man, that's the saddest part, because when you just look at her lifeless body, that she was more than just the sum of her parts. She was a beautiful spirit. She was just such a lovely being, full of love and joy. And now, just a shell, a body. It's the Spirit that God remembers. It's the Spirit that God loves. It's the Spirit that God can put into a new body. As Jesus says, one that does not perish. It is the Spirit that God will save or forget, aka destroy. One of the things a lot of people don't want to do when they experience these kind of things, just because they are profound, they're life-changing, they're so vivid and life-changing, but they don't want to dissect who gains from this. When they experience something, they don't want to ask themselves, who gains from what I just experienced? Who gains? What are the consequences of me thinking like this now? They don't think about that. They just want to think, and it's pride. They want to think they're special. Like, even the guy said he thinks he's just going straight to heaven just because. That's pride. That's like him basically saying, I'm so awesome as I am that I'm just going straight to heaven. I literally am like, he's got the fast track pass is what he thinks he's got. Like the rest of the murderers, oh yeah, okay, well they might, who knows what happens to them, but you know, he's like, I know I'm going straight to heaven because I got the fast track pass. He really reminds me of a thief trying to jump in through the window of a house. Do you think he's going to stay in that house long? How long do you think it's going to take before the dogs who live in that house alert the person who lives in the house who's going to kick them out? If at least kick them out. He's lucky if that's all they do. That's right. He's trying to sneak in. They never ask themselves. See, listen. What happened with Jesus in history were real events. Real people saying real things. Doing real things. When you experience a vision like this, it's in your mind. Like I said, he didn't die and come back. He almost died on a table. Now you're going to have some people who are going to say, well, they were actually dead for like 30 minutes. Then they weren't dead. Okay. That means they weren't actually dead. It means our medical understanding of what death is not very accurate. They weren't dead yet. Dead means you're gone from this place. That's it. And you're not coming back to this place. That's what dead means. All right? It doesn't mean that you stop breathing for 30 minutes. It doesn't mean, listen, when you're dead, you are dead. Okay? Wouldn't you agree that a skeleton that's 100 years old from its previous owner that person is dead? Wouldn't you agree? Okay. So, there's a big difference between a skeleton that's 100 years decayed and somebody who was, we said, dead for 30 minutes. They weren't dead yet then if they came back. If you come back, you weren't really dead. Unless you're a risen Jesus, you know? I guess you could say. Someone's going to say, what? Then doesn't that mean Jesus wasn't dead? Listen. What we have recorded from what Jesus happened was unlike anything we've ever seen. In the story of Lazarus, for example, that person was gone for days. Okay? And from our understanding of what brain death is and how it is, you cannot be dead for days and come back. I think it's a matter of minutes, actually. I don't remember how many, but my point is, what happened with Jesus was there were real historical events. Real things by real people saying real things. You could put faith in these events and these teachings, or you could put faith in an experience you had, which may contradict or make useless the teaching of Jesus. It might make useless what he actually did. It'll make useless like any miracle he did. It will make him useless. When it makes the Son of God useless, Like I said, who benefits from this? Who benefits from this experience? That's right. Yeah, you know. The angel who's going to destruction, that's who benefits from it. And he's taken as many humans as he can with him. And he does these kinds of things. You think this is the first time? You think this has been happening for thousands of years? It's been happening in the Old Testament. A lot of the people thought that it was God telling them to murder their neighbors. This has been going on for more than 1,000 years. Jesus said, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he's referring to Satan as a thief. He steals humans from God. He steals your life. He steals your hope in many cases. Or he replaces it with false hope. He's a thief. That's what Satan does. This is his M.O. Anytime you have an experience like this, ask yourself, who benefits from this? Who benefits, Mr. Toby? Who benefits from all of it? I know. Life's rough. You got it easy, you know that? All you're calling in life to do is just to love me and love everybody else in the house and who you come up to. Yeah, Betty Rubs. Betty Rubs. Yeah, how's my boy? You have a very simple calling in life, you know that, mister? Yours is so easy. You were born to be loved. Now, you want to talk about somebody who has a fast track to heaven? It's a dog. A dog has no sin. They just love you unconditionally, very much like the Spirit of God. A dog has a fast track to heaven, let me tell you. But they don't need to tell you. He's like, you're talking too much and rubbing my belly too less. A dog has a fast track to heaven, all right? I can get on board with that. But when you talk about a human being who has offended God, I'm sure, countless times throughout their life, no, something needs to be said. There needs to be some apology given. There needs to be some humility offered up. Some God, I'm a lowly thing. You're the creator. I am the created. You know, I don't want to perish. Please forgive me of my sins and come into my heart. And you need a name so you know who you're praying to, so you're not praying to Cthulhu. You pray to Jesus. You heathen. You pray to Jesus. So it's like, you're not petting my belly anymore again. This guy, right now he's giving me a bad review as an owner. Talks too much, pets too little. Yep. Talks too much and pets too little. Yep, talk too much and pet too little. See, Toby, right here. Okay, he's all super relaxed. The birds are chirping and it's nice outside and he's getting a nice pet. So he's nice and drowsy when it's like this because everything's just so perfect, isn't it? Yeah, so perfect. But you see, take like Toby right here. See, as much as I know he's just relaxing right now, but man, that look sometimes scares me because I've seen like how Jenna looked when she got put down. I know I'm ending the video on an awful note. I'm trying to make another point here. And you just realize you're like, man, Toby was just such a good boy, such a good spirit, just a loving spirit. And his body, I'm telling you, when they go, man, it's like you realize just how much value their spirit, their personality, who they was compared to their body, you know? I mean, the body just becomes so He's like, dude. Toby don't even need to go to heaven. Toby's already there, aren't you, buddy? You get chicken every day. And you get to live out in that nature, and you get to look at the rabbits all the time. And you get the whole couch to yourself now. The whole couch to yourself. Sleep whenever you want. Walks. Sometimes several times a day. When you're the last child left, I tell you what, you get spoiled. Yeah. Hey, you ain't done? That's what he just said right there. You're not done? Get back here. Yeah, I'm done for right now. Okay. So just be careful. Okay, these visions, they're coming from your brain. You don't know what kind of spirit is the origin of it. It's usually Satan. If it's a female's voice, probably Satan. If it is, like I say, takes away from the divinity of Jesus or just causes it to be not applicable, probably Satan. Causes you a false sense of security, doesn't acknowledge evil or sin, probably Satan. So just be careful.